Okay, hi. So, as requested, this is my Draw My Life video. And every single one I've seen so far was pretty sad, so I don't know, YouTubers must have some really sad lives, but I don't think mine's that sad. So, my story begins in San Diego, California, and I was born to Still Not Daddy and Still Not Mommy. And I also have an older brother who is 6 years older than me, and I guess we'll call him Still Not Brother. But when I was 3 or 4, Still Not Daddy and Still Not Mommy weren't so happy together anymore, and they separated. So Still Not Mommy took Still Not Brother and I and flew to Buffalo, New York, across the country. And well, I was really sad that my parents weren't together anymore. I cried a lot, and I really missed my dad. My mom told me that I used to ask her if I could go over my dad's house and sleep over. Well, of course, she said I couldn't. So yeah, I could have been a Cali boy, but I grew up in New York instead. My brother and I didn't get along, and we would argue and fight all the time. When I was in 2nd grade, I met a boy named JT69, and well, that's not really his name, but yeah, we were best friends, and we used to draw Power Rangers a lot together. When I was young, I really loved to draw. I used to also really like looking through the yearbook. I always buy them every year so I can look at people. Yeah, I know, creepy. And when I was in 4th grade, one day I looked through the yearbook and I saw this girl and I thought she was so pretty. So I had this big crush on her, and I used to look at her picture every night before I went to bed. So creepy. When I was in 5th grade, I had this teacher named Miss Turner, and she was also my brother's teacher. And to this day, I still consider her to be the best teacher I've ever had, and I'll never forget her. She used to yell at us though whenever we said yeah instead of yes, or huh instead of excuse me. So when I had surgery to remove my appendix, she came and visited me and brought all these cards that she told my classmates to write for me. I loved her, and I'm so sad I never got to visit her before she retired. I haven't seen her in like over 10 years, and I actually really miss her. A lot of kids revisit their elementary school when they enter high school, but I wasn't doing so well, so I was kind of ashamed to go see her. So I just wanted to graduate college and be successful before I go find her again, because I want her to be proud of me. Anyways, back to me. I was really skinny, and I had glasses, round glasses, so I looked like Harry Potter. And other kids would call me Chinese Harry Potter, because I don't know, I guess all Asians are Chinese. So sometimes I took a marker and I drew the scar on my forehead, just to be like, yeah, I'm Harry Potter. Except when I took my glasses off, I kind of looked like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z because of how I used to do my hair, you know, the super Asian way. So when I was in 6th grade, my brother and my mom argued and fought every day. I thought it was going to be okay, but he eventually moved out on his own. At first I was like, yes, the computer is all mine now, but eventually I started to feel lonely. I spent all of my time on the computer playing games and learning how to use Photoshop and coding and all those good things. This is also the time when I started listening to Korean music, but like really old school K-pop. So when I got to 7th grade, I started becoming a rebel, and I wore really baggy clothes and started listening to rap music and all that. So I started going to basketball courts a lot, hung out with some people that I probably shouldn't have, and got into a lot of random street fights with other kids over really stupid stuff. One time I stole a bike at the park, and then a week later they found out who I was and started chasing me with baseball bats. And well, you guessed it, they beat the crap out of me, and to this day I still have this bump on my nose to show for it. Oh, and I finally got the courage to talk to that girl that I liked since the 4th grade. We passed notes back and forth in between classes, and it was all going well until that summer my mom decided to move to Florida with my cousins. Great timing, right? I hated it. It was so hot and sticky, and I was so stuck on this thug life mentality that I didn't really have any friends. So it was like the first time in my life that I didn't have friends. So I couldn't take it. I hated it. I missed my friends, so I told my mom that I was going back to Buffalo to graduate 8th grade, and then I would come back to Florida with her. So I moved back to Buffalo by myself and left my mom in Florida. And I was 13 years old, and I went back to live on my own, and I was so free. I finally asked that girl to be my girlfriend, and she said yes, and I was happy, but then a month later she broke up with me. I was sad that I went across the country for a girl, but at least I still have my friends. Who needs girls, right? So of course, with all that freedom, I started doing hood rat things with my friends. I used to come home at like 1 a.m. dribbling a basketball around the hood and getting into a lot of trouble. I used to have freestyle battles with some kids on the block all the time, and that was a lot of fun. But then one day when we were hanging out at the corner, some car came by and rolled down their window and everyone took cover except me. I was scared, so I just froze, and when I heard the gunshots, I fell backwards from surprise. There were about 5 to 6 shots, and when we got up, I saw a bullet hole in my hoodie. Thank God the hoodie was so big and I was so skinny, otherwise I would have got hit. I still have that hoodie today to remind myself of the event. Unfortunately, not everyone was as lucky as me. I went through so much those 6 months, and to this day, even though a lot of bad things did happen, I still think that it was the best time of my life. I didn't have a computer or the internet because I left it all in Florida, so I went to school every single day and hung out with my friends after school, and I only went home to sleep. If you're wondering how I survived, my mom used to mail me $50 a month as an allowance, and then I would take that money and go roll dice with it. Sometimes that 50 turned into like 200, and then sometimes I lost it all and starved that month. Good times. So I graduated middle school and I was voted most likely to become a star for some odd reason, and I went back to Florida, back to my mom, back to my computer and the internet. Everything suddenly felt so different again. I was unhappy again. My mom saw that I did not want to be in Florida at all and decided for my own sake to move back to Buffalo with me, even though she just got a really good job offer. So we moved back to Buffalo. When I got back to Buffalo, all of my friends got accepted into a different high school because I missed the entrance exam. So I ended up going to a high school that I did not like. So yeah, I didn't have any friends, and there was actually one guy who dated my ex and sent me death threats. And I really wanted to fight him, but then I remembered what happened when people started beefing for no reason. Since I didn't have a social life, I spent a lot of time on the internet, and most importantly, MapleStory. I played MapleStory all day and every day of my freshman year. I can still remember running home from school, talking to JC69 on the phone saying, "Hurry and get home, a new server just came out." So we played together a lot, and I was pretty well known, and I had a lot of friends in the game, but no friends at school. I went from a hood rat kid to a MapleStory nerd. Then one day I met this girl in the game and we talked a lot. And I really liked everything about her, and although I never met her, I kinda grew feelings for her. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this somehow, so don't judge me. So for the longest time, I really considered her to be like the girl of my dreams, but unfortunately, she never felt the same way about me, ever. But we were still friends and talked a lot, and she really got me into K-pop, and we watched a lot of Korean dramas, and I guess I really admired her. When SNSD debuted, there was a member who had the same name as her, so naturally I became a very big fanboy. Anyway, so my sophomore year I transferred to my friend's high school and was reunited with them. But I became disconnected from them because our interests were now different. I just wanted to play MapleStory all day and we didn't hang out that much anymore. I can't even remember much about my sophomore and junior year. I just remember skipping school and sleeping in class because I stayed up all night playing MapleStory. Then near the end of my junior year, I met this girl and stopped playing. Let's call her Cookie. I also started hanging out with my friends again. JT69 and I started a YouTube channel called Cheap Webcam because we thought we were funny. It didn't really work out, and neither did my relationship, which lasted for about 3 months, and then she broke up with me. Yeah, my love life was sort of a disaster. But one day, one of my friends from MapleStory, let's call him Savefish, told Cookie to make videos on YouTube, and she became an instant sensation. Savefish also told me to make a video response to her videos, and so I made my very first solo video without JT69. It didn't blow up or anything, but that was when I started getting subscribers, so he told me to keep making videos and, start a YouTube channel. So that's when I started slowly making YouTube videos on my own. I got my car my senior year and started skipping school every day. I used to come to school like once every 2 weeks just to take exams. My school started having this stereotype that Asians have nice cars and don't go to school, because it wasn't just me who was like that. But yeah, I graduated without any high school memories, nothing to show for the past 4 years. So I hope you guys learn from my mistakes and fully enjoy your high school experience while you still can. So when I went to college at the University of Buffalo, I kept making YouTube videos. I dated a few more girls in college, and none of my relationships seemed to ever work out. One day my friend gave me one of her cats, and I named him Dubu, and he brings joy and happiness to my mom and I, so that's a wonderful thing that happened. And then my channel started growing, and I started making a good amount of money off of YouTube, and I was happy. I felt good about myself. People knew me when I left the house, people liked my music and my videos, and people sent me emails saying I inspired them, and I was glad that I was able to be that kind of person. Then my junior year of college, I was walking to CVS and I met this girl. She approached me and told me that she watches my videos on YouTube and told me that her name was Kelly. A few days after that, I couldn't stop thinking about her for some reason, and I searched her up on Facebook and added her. In other words, I stalked her. Then one day I decided to message her on AIM at like 5 a.m. and we started talking. In other words, I stalked her again. Long story short, we got to know each other and eventually fell in love. And from then I learned that love comes to you at the moment you stop trying to find it. And I used to think that I would never find someone who can truly love me for all of my flaws and my faults, but I was wrong, and although we fight a lot, we always find a way to forgive and come back to each other. So how do I feel today? Well, first of all, I'm very happy that I met her, and I'm also really happy that I can share this story to you guys. Some of you have practically watched me grow up, and for others, we pretty much grew up together, and you guys have given me so much confidence, and I learned so much these past 5 years. I met so many amazing people that changed my life forever, and I wouldn't have gotten anywhere without you guys. So I guess my story does have a happy ending today. I'm graduating soon, and I'm still planning to make more videos afterwards, so don't worry about that. And I'm finally going to be able to go visit my 5th grade teacher and tell her, hey, I made it, finally. My brother and I are talking again, and I actually go over his house to see him and his new family every week, and even though my parents are still separated, they're both pretty happy, so that's good enough for me. You know, I originally named my channel StillNotDavid because at the time I didn't know exactly who I was. But because of you guys, your love and support, I know who I am now, and I would not be who I am today without you. So I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for allowing me to experience everything that I have today. Allow me to be someone worth being approached to at CVS. And thank you for allowing StillNotDavid to finally be David.